I'm Bob Harris of Decorative Concrete Institute. Welcome to Duraamen's training and educational series for industrial and decorative flooring systems. On our Duraamen 5500 installation over wood, to recap, we did a coat of Scrofino Fine, sanded that, and then we did Scrofino Superfine, and you just saw us screen that with a 100 grit screen. We went ahead and vacuumed it and damp mopped it. Now we're ready for the next step. A couple of important considerations. This is a very light floor, not quite white. Although the base of the material was white, we did a gray tint. You want to protect your boots because it's easily stainable right now. You don't want to bring contaminants on the floor, so just always wear booties. We're going to be showing you as an option, a coloring option, if you want it, just a very light dye wash. We're going to be using Deso dye. The color is slate gray. For this product, it can be mixed into either water or solvent. And the ratio, the mix ratio, is 1 part of these containers to 1 gallon of water, or 1 part of these containers into 1 gallon of acetone. Now, that's for a full intense color like you would see on the Duraamen color chart. In this instance, we don't want a real intense color. We're going to be doing what's called a dye wash. And it's simply taking it and diluting it even further. And in this case, we're going to be at 5 parts water to 1 part Deso dye. So when you use it in a water-based solution, basically we're going to spray apply it, and Joe's going to be using what's called a microfiber pad. It's a very easy, quick installation, and it's going to produce some really nice results by diluting it. So always have a bucket. You don't want to walk across a slab without either a rag on the end of the bucket or the tip in the bucket. I see a lot of guys in the business, they'll make a common mistake by just spraying, and then when they let off on the trigger, it just starts to spew the stain down. So I always like to try to start it in the bucket, and then if I have to let off on the trigger, the tip goes back into the bucket. So we're going to start off by Joe turning over the microfiber pad, and I'm going to pre-wet it. Just go ahead and lay it flat. There you go. And then here we go. Go ahead and start rubbing that in. I'll go behind him. I'm trying to keep it off of our adjacent panel, which is why I go that way. Once again, I want you to watch when I let off on the trigger. Watch what I'm doing. In the bucket each time. Coming at you here. We're down to our last several steps on our Duraamen 5500 installation over wood. We're getting ready to apply a light mist coat of A03, which is a water-based acrylic. I'm simply going to fog on it a light coat, and Joe's going to come behind me and back roll. We're using a 3/8 snap roller. We've already delinted the roller by using tape to pull any lint off of the roller. So we're going to get going here. We're back on our dyed Duraamen 5500 over wood. Remember what we did is we put the Duraamen 5500 down, and then 2 coats of Scrofino, and then of course we applied this nice color of dye. We did apply A03 acrylic, sprayed on, back rolled, and now what we're doing is we're going to be applying E32, which is a water-based epoxy. Basic coverage rate is somewhere between 300 to 400 square feet per coat per gallon. We mixed the E32 and we allowed it to sit for 30 minutes for an induction period. it's a basic 2-to-1 ratio, and after it sets for 30 minutes, we come back and we remix it again a second time with your drill, and you have a window of opportunity to install the product for about 1 hour. So from the time you start mixing till the time you no longer want to use this type of a product, you have 90 minutes. Despite the fact that it might look good in the bucket, when you exceed that 90-minute window, it actually could stay white on the floor. So really be diligent about your timing, okay? One thing we like to do is go ahead and get it on the floor, quickly roll it down, and then I like to have a second worker or helper with a dry roller coming right behind me, dry rolling it, and we seem to really get rid of any roller lines, and it lays it down really, really nice. Just a general rule, when you're working that way, turn your roller around. Yep. And what happens is there's a technique. When I roll, I actually, on the back roll, I twist the handle ever so slightly, and it feathers this. Think of it as being higher, and you get less roller lines that way. We're putting our final product on our Param 5500, which was installed over wood. To recap, what we did is we sealed it first with AO3 water-based acrylic. Once that had dried for 2 to 3 hours, we came over that with E32, which is a water-based epoxy primer, and now we're finishing it off with U45, which is a water-based polyurethane. Once the coat has been rolled down, you want to allow a minimum of 24 hours for foot traffic or light traffic. It takes probably 3 to 4 days depending on the conditions for a full cure. So if you have construction traffic or heavier traffic, you'll want to protect the floors. And normally what Duraamen recommends is using either ram board or masonite. A word of precaution, never ever tape anything directly to the coated surface. It's okay to overlap the ram board or the masonite and tape the seam, but never put tape directly on the floor.